Fiddle Studio podcast, featuring tunes and stories from the world of traditional music and fiddling. I'm meganwobus, and today I'll be bringing you a setting of Amazing Grace. Hello everyone, I hope you are well. Wow, it's good to be back. It has been a while. This episode is going to be more of an update and a step to help me get back, set my microphone up again and get out my audio software and jumpstart me back into doing some podcasts. There will be fiddle topics coming up, hopefully some interviews if I can get some folks scheduled to do that. But for today, it's going to be a little more of an update. You can hear what I've been doing, what I've been thinking about. I've been off from the podcast, I think since the spring. I have to double check. My last episode was an interview with Megan Lynch-Chowning. You should check it out. I had some great interviews last winter and last spring, and I recommend all of them. Since then, I have been playing a lot of music. Don't worry, I didn't stop playing the fiddle, but playing music mostly for fun. And for my job, I have been writing. So I write children's books and young adult fiction, other kinds of books. That's mostly what I've been spending my time doing. Right now, my current book that I'm trying to finish up is with the editor. So I have a little bit of downtime while I wait for her to get through the book and send it back to me. And here I am, sending out a podcast to you all. I have, I guess over the spring and the summer, I've definitely become more of a Luddite, even than I was, even more than I was before, a Luddite, or a person who's very skeptical of technology. That's definitely how I identify these days. And in addition to the various fiction book projects that I work on, I also write specifically about what you might call digital minimalism or tech skepticism. These days it's sort of bleeding into AI doom. And I have a Substack where I publish little essays that I write, mostly when I get an idea in my head and I cannot get it out. It kind of writes itself out and scrolls around in my head over and over again until I write it down. So just right off the bat, I will, if you're interested in these kinds of topics and occasionally how they interact with music, and want to read more of my anti-technology rantings, you can find my Substack. It is called A Life Outside, and yeah, I'll put a link to it in the show notes. This seems like a good time to say I don't use any AI to plan or write these podcasts. There's no AI in any of my books. I don't use it for my music, transcription, my software. I don't use it for sound editing. Yes, everything that I write and create is brain-made, no AI. I've been thinking about this song that I grew up listening to called Too Much Nothing. It's a Bob Dylan song. When I was a kid, I would hear it on car drives when my parents would put in a collection of Peter, Paul, and Mary songs. And the version that they did is very different from Bob Dylan's version of this song, Too Much Nothing. But I like them both. There are a lot of different interpretations of this song about what the nothing is that Dylan's referring to, if it's idleness, having nothing to do, if it's poverty, lack of money, or even like death and war and destruction. It's a catchy song, the way that Peter, Paul, and Mary covered it, and I asked my parents, what is up with this song, just as a kid trying to understand it, and the way that they explained it to me was as a criticism of idleness, of having nothing to do. So that was always how I saw it. I think it's been on my mind because as a mom, I'm definitely worried about a world where my children, I have 3 teenagers right now, have, for lack of a better word, too much nothing to do. uh, Sort of living and surviving gets easier and easier for them, and they can order things to be delivered, and even the prospect of having like robots that do our chores at home. I see how they fill in the time that is quote unquote saved from this this wonderful labor that is now provided to us in so many parts of our lives. And not to throw my children under the bus, but a lot of what they do with that nothing, with that freedom, is just being on the internet, scrolling, checking things, watching things, messaging. Yeah, I worry about it. I do think folks have worried about this for a long time, worry about their food being replaced with corporate food, worrying about public transportation and walkable neighborhoods being replaced with cars that you have to buy and upkeep. And now there's so many things that can be replaced. I mean, big Spotify deals to make playlists of AI music. I'm a writer too, so I'm aware of how much writing out there is being replaced with AI or slop, as we sometimes call it. I know artists are feeling that, and even just other parts of our lives, like being able to navigate, being replaced with using the GPS, shopping, going out to eat, being replaced with delivery, our social lives now, our planning and writing and thinking abilities all being replaced by technologies. If you look at the lyrics to the song Too Much Nothing to see what Dylan has to say about what might be the consequences of having nothing to do, each verse ends in a pronouncement about this. The first one, too much nothing, no one has control. The second verse, too much nothing, nobody should look. And the last one, too much nothing just makes a fellow mean. I mean, I'm on board with Dylan here. When I think about labor saving and computers and technology and our economy taking care of things for us so that we have less to do, I think about Star Trek and WALL-E. So the Star Trek is the, of course, tech optimist interpretation of this, where the computers and the technology take over all the hard stuff and we can explore the universe and have fun hobbies and have adventures on the holodeck. And if you have seen the children's movie WALL-E, it's the maybe tech skeptical interpretation where computers and technology have taken over all of the hard work and humans are in these floating chairs, each one clutching a smoothie that's the food that they ingest, and they have like a screen and they're just scrolling and messaging and scrolling and messaging, and that's what they do all day while the computers do everything else. I think this hit me really hard when I was watching. It was a TurboTax commercial, and they said you could save an hour on your taxes. And then they showed this woman jogging by a river, and so every now and then I refer to, when I'm ranting about this stuff to my family, jogging by the river, that a company says, we're going to save you time. And the message is like, so you can go jog by the river. But of course, very few of us are using our extra, quote unquote, saved time to jog by the river. If you check your screen time numbers and stuff, as we have extra time, we are generally using it for scrolling and being online more. And of course, all of that extra time online does make them more money because of internet privacy and ad rules that allow them to, collect our information and advertise to us and sell our data. I am going to talk briefly about the fiddle, just bringing it all back to music. I do think that playing music is kind of a, take that to the man into this corporate plan and design that is taking all of our labor away and kind of giving us too much nothing. Music is like so many things online. It's a dopamine hit. It makes you feel good, but it costs nothing. I mean, it doesn't have to cost a lot. Once you have an instrument, and you can also open up your mouth and sing, and you can just make your own entertainment, either by yourself or with other people. And I love music for that. And I love the way music feels to play. I love the way music feels to listen to. I love being in a big jam of live music. The music is filling all the space around me and feeling the vibration of it and the energy in the room of people all in tune, in sync with each other. I think all of the things that we can do, whether it's music or anything else really that's offline, building out those parts of our lives that are away from, surveillance, capitalism, and the internet and AI. I think all of those other things we do are just so important to keep and to develop and to put our effort into. And that's maybe one of the reasons that I'm not super online at the moment. I definitely have some fiddle tunes I'd love to share with you, and some musical topics I've been saving up in my brain that, thinks of things and reminds me to write them down and share them. But I am just as an individual working a lot on building out that part of my life that's offline. And I write about that journey and just ideas for that, again, in my Substack. If you're interested in this stuff, you can go check it out. Our tune today is called, it's not really a tune. I guess I call it a tune if it doesn't have words. So this is a song or a hymn, Amazing Grace. I really love hymns. I grew up, my mom was one of 7 siblings, and they sang a lot together, especially the 5 girls, and they sang a lot of hymns. So even though I'm Jewish now, and I love Jewish music and Jewish religious music, I still love hymns and Christian music. Kind of, I don't know. I'm on board for music now, wherever it's coming from. And I've always loved Amazing Grace. I'm going to play it here at the end and kind of do my take on it just with solo fiddle. But the story of this song is so incredible. Probably a lot of you know it, but the man who wrote the words, John Newton, he wrote them about a huge change that happened in his life. And it wasn't necessarily about a change that was enacted upon him. It was more like he went through this difficult experience. It was out to sea, and there was a really bad storm. And after that, because of that and because of what he had gone through emotionally, he changed his own life, like completely. He had been on this boat. He had people who were kidnapped from their homes and were going to be sold into slavery. He was a person just perpetuating evil and doing things that you can tell from his later work that he knew were wrong in order to make money, engaging in the slave trade. After the storm, he turned the ship back and he quit the business. He became an abolitionist and a writer and a poet. He wrote poems and hymns and worked against slavery. This really speaks to me just as a testament of free will. He realized even though he was making money, what he was doing was wrong and it was evil. And he changed his life to be something entirely different. So this does kind of fit back into my technology criticism. As a person now who's working on building her offline life, I'm often maybe the only person at a gym without a phone, the only person at a gym without headphones on, and the only person, walking around the block not staring at a screen. And do I kind of wish that more people would have like a John Newton moment about this stuff and just reject AI, reject social media, turn away from that online world. I definitely do, but I'm also a realist and committed to making the best of things. So for me, the best of things offline, it's usually music. I'm going to just keep playing music, and I encourage all of you to go play some music. Play it by yourself, play it on your porch, play it with friends, go find some live music in your community, and, maybe try it without your phone. I'm going to share this hymn with you about having a realization that changes your life, and you can find sheet music for it on my blog. Yeah, I have this Substack, I have this blog. The blog is fiddlestudio.blogspot.com. There's a lot of sheet music posted there and some transcripts of old podcasts. You can also, if you just go to Fiddle Studio, there should be a heading that says blog. If you're interested in more of these thoughts, you can check out the Substack, A Life Outside, and I promise there is more fiddle content coming. Next time will be on a fiddle and music topic. But I really hope everyone is doing well. Take care of yourselves. Take care of your music and your fiddles, and I will talk to you all soon.